one of the things I've enjoyed about the series is when poets from other cities have come and participated in the Jujo thing. And of course, it's my hometown, anyone that came in late. My hometown of Boston, Massachusetts. They call it the hub of the universe for a reason. Only because it is. Timothy Gager is not only a poet, but a writer of prose. He also runs a series in Cambridge, Massachusetts on the first Friday of every month called the Dyer Literary Series. Excuse me, sir. And he has all kinds of product. If you want to ask him, he will tell you about it. And what, are you still involved with that Somerville thing?
No.
No. Okay, so we won't talk about that. So he's got a breadth of experience, much like our friend from Long Island. He learned at the knee of George Wallace, and I think that's all that we need to say to know that Russ Green is the real deal, carrying on the continuum, right? So I'm going to shut my mouth because it's time for the next half hour or so for us to hear from Russ Green and Timothy Gager.
Well, it's an honor to be featuring here at the Jujo, and an honor to be featuring with Tim Gager. And I always say to all my poet friends, this is my favorite fucking place in the city to not just to feature, but to come to. Anyway, so yeah, without babbling on too much. Yeah, I'm just going to do a quick, a very short 5-second ode to Allen Ginsberg, whose birthday is today.
Yeah.
And thank you to George Wallace for posting this line on Facebook. We're not our skin of grime. We're not our dead, bleak, dusty, imageless locomotive. We're all beautiful, golden sunflowers inside. Happy birthday, Irwin Allen. Thank you for that,
George. Sam Jesus in the tub. On acid, the orgy thought they were a tribe, worshipping a soapstone god with hymns sounding more like Pink Floyd's Division Bell than holy, holy, holy. Waters of violet overflow the bathtub like a womb with 6 knees and elbows, 4 breasts, 1 cock crowing, bathed in wet vestments for the Almighty, leading to confessional prayers during this Mass, waiting and preparing for the second coming.
I'm going to follow that up with a poem about a trip I did with George Wallace, actually, to Lowell Celebrates Kerouac. We drank to Jack over his grave, among other things. Just got back from chasing the worn-out heels of Kerouac. Found him in the ground with a rucksack on his back, and I could have swore he sucked that 5th of Jacks we left right down through that granite stone in Spaghetti Town, and that big old Cotton Mill River didn't care. It just kept thrashing along, echoing the sounds of that angel brother of his as it rushed past that old grotto where Jack was afraid to walk before he learned to talk cool, before he quit school. We heard all the stories down on Appleton Street where the locals are, at the Four Sisters Owl Diner where the old cook with his Boston Irish accent throws the fries down on the plates with his bare hands, and the newspapermen and butchers and politicians suck them down through their French-Canadian teeth, and we could feel the old souls of those mill workers and Catholic nuns still wandering down Center Street, and even among the modern nouveau cafes and Korean convenience stores and new art galleries, there was still the undying energy of the sad old mill town that created all that road going down in the decadent Benzedrine decades to come.
know why the poets stand up here, because people try to leave, but we can pop them. How runs are scored. She tells me poets get to first base, which is fine, as I like baseball. I love first base, because it's the beginning of a rally. Second base can be a little dull, like rubbing pine tar on a bat before digging in at the plate to beat the hard ball into the ground. Even with speed, you can miss, and you can't steal first base, but a slow runner is out every time. She tells me she thought guys loved second base. Sure, but third and home are the most exciting. Any player will say that. In my prime, I once sent a picture of Mike Lowell to a girl I loved. And Lowell is Kerouac's hometown, not Wakefield, since he's a pitcher who tries to prevent runs from coming home. So I reply, fuck it. Poets are actually on deck, perhaps pinch hitters on small salaries, not regular players, though they're often utilized at many different positions. Occasionally, they get up, gripping the handle tightly, but it's not a regular thing. The dugout starts getting cold in September, and I enjoy the game too much to sit around waiting for that to happen.
Waitress, I drank you down in the Main Street Cafe. I could sense the warmth of your inner thighs as you served me shells from your searing seaside psyche. I couldn't ignore your blonde breath as it left the secret waters of your mischievous mouth and entered the outer consciousness of my inner Mongolia. I imagined you playing guitar for me, strumming my intestinal string theory to the 10th dimension of your smile. If you would only allow me to explore the first mile of your madness, I could be the chaos that waltzes into your womb with dancing star stuff to stand in the fires of your fears. For you to suck the very Milky Way from my cosmos with your thin, determined suburban lips would be to touch the tip of the intensity of the coming solar flare. And if the entire world goes up in flames over the way you brush your hair from your face, I'll be sure to know just what to wear.
Midlife Diner. There's this place where omelets salted with butter taste perfectly blessed, and ham and peppers, the same way the jazz of Miles Davis spangled notes during Almost Blue are best listened to round midnight in the spot I'm at, baby, open all night. It's a slight interruption from the gossamer of the American dream, which is what we talk about these days. Monies and marriages lost, like bamboo twigs in a tsunami's distempered thrashing, replaced by split-second glimpses of an entrance, high heels clicking on a dirty green and white checkered floor. So here's a toast to your mouth, slathered bright red lips of jelly, a proposed bailout where butter meets jam.
All right, so in the jazz vein, you bistro folks, you heard this at the bistro. Quantum Cool. So I couldn't say just what it was, the cool jazz piano playing, the guitar strumming, but the place had a feel. Everything was intense. There were mosaics on the wall, mosaics with mysterious mirrors, offering portals into parallel universes, with blue hands, with eyes on the palms to ward off evil spirits. I mean, there were inverse pelican beaks with mouths made of tar feather. They were sucking up every ounce of that sticky weather outside. The old piano player, he didn't care. He just kept rolling along those inverse ivories, Monk, Basie, Brubeck, Ellington. He played backwards, back to his early married days, his teenage years, chasing teenage girls with their first teenage earrings and their baby soft virgin ears. And I knew I was in there too. I was caught in that inverse universe. I was caught, and I felt like Elvis. I'm caught in a trap. I can't walk out. But I felt something change. I knew it was closing time. I knew it when that straight-haired college girl with that slinky sundress pulled that vacuum out. Instead of vacuuming the floor, she turned that naked nozzle to those reflections and refractions, fended off every distraction and contraction. She sucked myself and every antithetical atom of that parallel world right out of that miraculous multiverse. Like a quantum astronaut, every molecule of my weary-hearted existence flew past the event horizon of her black hole wind tunnel onto every piano... sorry. Until every piano player, guitar strummer, opera singer, girl chaser, guy chaser, every clock stopper, every plumber and pauper, every creature, every purple sunset, every big bang, and every romantic moon washed by time's waters was contained in her vacuum bag underneath her sultry, swaying little white flowered sundress.
It's really cool, playing off some of Russ's stuff. But like the difficult thing is if I do something that has like jazz in it, and Russ does something with like jazz in it, so I go back to jazz. So no, I came up with like I got a title which kills the thread. Funeral with no music. You know, my dad was dead or dying when my dog was dead or dying. So sudden she expired in my arms. That Sunday I was ill-prepared to start the whole, so I sat and paced, then slept till Monday. It was me that drove the golf cart to under the jade magnolia tree. Lady's matted body teetered as the hefty bag crackled in the wind, her tail stuck out of it. None of this, the flowers, red-purple on the outside, white on the inside, smelled sweet after I sat there, my hair layered in sweat, the shovel caked with dry dirt, thinking Dad deserved to die alone. The amount of times he cocked a gun to his head, fucking with all of us. His funeral can be silent for all I care. Just like the quiet I found in one of the great discoveries of my childhood when I escaped to his backyard to taste the small drops of honeysuckle.
So, yeah, I don't know how to, the way I'm thinking to respond to that is just, fuck it. This is called Valentine's Day. This is a note to Puma Pearl, actually. She had a Valentine's Day reading over at the Yippie Cafe, and I walked in, and she was wearing a T-shirt that said "Fuck Valentine's Day," written in red blood-like material. So this came out of that. Yes, thank you. And I've been promising to email her this poem for a long time, and I apologize profusely, but here it is. Valentine's Day. I fucked Valentine's Day on the precipice of her canyon of broken bra straps and shattered illusions of Elvis. I fucked Valentine's Day in the midst of Maserati memories flying off a cliff just before splashing into the Mediterranean under the hanging village of Ez, looking for the ghost of Princess Grace. I fucked Valentine's Day with her hair cascading down over her police badge, piercing her left nipple. I fucked Valentine's Day in the spirit of all that is right about wanting to have sex with that hot traffic court judge on top of the bench while she convicted me of salacious infractions involving sauerkraut and spilled Bavarian beer. I fucked Valentine's Day because she showed me no mercy, because I'm pretty sure she saw me writing this before she called me to stand before her. I fucked Valentine's Day to taste the burning embers of her incontrovertible memory.
What do men want? In response to Kim Adonisio. I want a woman in a red dress, flimsy and cheap, too tight, and I want her to wear it until I can tear it off her. I want a case of cheap beer in a styrofoam cooler, sweat beading on the bottle, the same way my sweat forms on my back before it saturates my shirt. I want that woman to peel off her dress and dance naked while handing me scotch when it's time to move on. I want her to understand that all I want to do is lie in bed and smoke cigarettes while she drapes herself over my ankles, the softness of her red camisole massaging the tops of my feet. And I want the drinks to be handy so we won't have to move, accepting each other. The pure harshness all poured down my throat, soothed by the velvety texture of her panties, and I want to pull them to the side, check what's underneath. I want a woman who will make me feel that I'm perfection in a vessel, who'll think my paycheck is larger than I know it is, who'll tell me my dick is larger as well. I want to be the only man out there badass enough to drive a rusted car, not worry about the weather report because the floorboard leaks. There'll still be a chance of blowjob, so my dark clouds don't matter by the time her thighs start pumping the sunshine out of me, so hot the world burns in hell.
Yeah. Very honest.
Is this a regular camera?
Cool. All right. So
You can take them up tomorrow. Because I'm
I
new
can
with
definitely echo the words of Tim.
What?
And that's something close to that for brief periods, but it always ended up going down in flames. So this is what I call my tragic love poem. The language of you. If it weren't for the twisting willows constantly brushing across my face, I could have loved you. If it weren't for the illicit yellowness of the sun interrupting the pale ocean currents in my mind, I could have loved you. If it weren't for oceans being used or alluded to in every damn love poem ever written, I could have loved you. If it weren't for the green and white needles on the snow-drenched terrain of your emotional psyche, I could have loved you. If it weren't for the hammer of the gods pulsing through your veins, if it weren't for me having to wind my way through the war zone of waterfalls and moose-trapped bears attacking me while I'm just trying to empty out all this garbage from the back of my car, I could have loved you. I tried to love you through Moroccan villages and mint tea strewn across Main Street, through suicidal lust of journals on the campus of the poetic goddess of the dark where young girls want to be lesbians but only until graduation. I tried to love you even through the barren fields of the Kaligandaka River Valley. Shaggy Mongolian ponies trying to knock me off mile-high cliffs just like you used to do to me with your stare. Laughing at the yak shit on my shoe, wondering how it is I put these shorts on backwards. I remember you smirking at that half-blown-out ruin of a mountain on the Pacific, blasted apart with just a flick of your hair. I remember the shapeliness of your breasts, they melted entire continents, the Rockies reduced to one vast liquefied erogenous zone. I remember you.
You know, I was looking for one to answer that and I couldn't find it. I was looking as fast as I could. So my backup plan.
Go for it.
The lost spoons are missing from my house, taken while you were here, as I pretended people holed up in bathrooms for 20 minutes every hour was something everyone did. Coffee cup rings made white stains on my table, cigarettes burned black lines on my wood floor, next to the sofa where you dropped them from your fingers, one time when your head wilted into a plate of hummus. I hope you can recover with the bloom of new days. I've filled mine with what I've wanted, quiet like the red roses, no longer left to die.
Yeah, that was sweet. And the hummus reminded me of my falafel poem, but I couldn't have a falafel poem.
Now, by the way, guys,
I couldn't
probably
find it.
2 more sets, okay?
Okay.
Just so you know.
All right, but this one's got.
Got what? Like Texas? That'll work.
And it's about, it has the street in the next block over. Okay, Exile on Inhumane Street. I stroll down Avenue A with tahini breezes dripping from the corner of my mouth, passing a flat screen store window showing Hollywood Bang Bang, stopping for Italian with lanolini lanyards in my linguini. They say accents change every 50 miles, then why is it winds change every 50 seconds? Is it geothermal or ocean energy? Global warming scientists say stay away from oceans and deserts. What if I want to have your ocean for dessert? Feed it to the 950,000 homeless soldiers in America, invisible veterans. I'm giving rice advice. I'm pissed I can't make rice right. And I'm amazed at your maze of maize and how much you make selling to high fructose corn syrup factories. You're a corn star, baby. I thought I heard Peter the McCarthy King urged the UN to declare Long Island a no falafel zone. He's a politician on Long Island. He wants to fly them to Jordan in an extra falafelary rendition and torture them with ketchup. I heard today a Jewish family came home to Denmark in 1946 after being in exile in Sweden. After 3 years, the goose was still in the oven. After 25 years, I'm still hanging out on these Lower East Side streets, chasing the ghost of Ginsberg, howling at the International Space Station, gliding toward orbital sunrise, wondering if the astronauts gave a standing ovation as they passed the soul of Johnny Cash in the cosmic heavens high above my Green Mountain meditation stage. A rustle in the trailhead trees behind me, only to see some bloated old moose with stars in his eyes and stripes on his forehead, wiping blood from his lips after he's devoured my goose.
I heart New York. A man sneezes into a rack of clothes on the sidewalk. Something never presented by the New York Department of Tourism, as they'd like you to travel for the great food. The Belgian frites, no longer fried in lard, which is what we craved. But that has been killed, unhealthy, against the law. Odd. On Sunday, we had ironed waffles and bacon, forking them in as the cook's washer and dryer is delivered past the table, while the waitress delivers sugar. WINS radio reports a teenager has beaten his mother's head in with a barbell. You say, that's awful, to the coffee.
Okay, I was deciding which one I was going to do one about coffee, but I think I'm going to stick with the New York City theme. You can do them both if you want. Alright, maybe I'll do them both. Yeah, because they're both short. Alright. New York City tow truck blues. Car got towed, wanted to slap Jack Kerouac, slap his immortal Dharma bum soul for allowing his jazz groove funk friend to have a jazz groove funk poetry Cairo to Kerouac Amram night here on this night when the sheriff's in town. The sheriff's in town in the Wild West Village. The sheriff's in town and the sheriff's in tow of my car. I wasn't there. I had my head buried in foreign lands and burning sands of travel books and poetic hooks of a cool new bookstore on Prince Street as my car slipped away into the dirty black grit of New York City night. All right, my last one. This is on the coffee theme. And apologies to Julie. It's not downing coffee in general. It's about Starbucks. Coffee.
Coffee.
About my love-hate relationship with Starbucks, which is why I love Jujomukti so much. It's all about entrepreneurship. Starbucks. Like hawks hovering, eyeing, salivating. Like chickens, hens, roosters jostling for seed. Like hogs gathered at the trough. Brown, muddy caffeine rain falls upon them all. A fetish, a love affair, insatiable wanting, longing, like a sex addict. Gotta have more. Shove some of that high-octane speed drug down my throat. Swallow its blackness with frothy milk. There's war outside. There's hunger, rape, terror, torture, Teachers, priests, molesting. It's all right there on the New York Times in the corner, man. No matter. Give me my fix. Make me come in an orgasm of your black liquid ecstasy. I want to be your coffee whore.
I'll close with two short ones. This one's got a Jack Kerouac theme and coffee. Hit the road now, Jack. The road is holy, smoke straight, worn as the vinyl of the seat of my Dodge. Pickup, telephone's ringing already, knowing the things flying by, the pictures and frames. Some coffee cups and ashtrays can ride in the back seat behind the crash of jazz played in a time that's broken. Reply to someone who said my poems are all sad. Fluffy white cottontail bunnies. Pink noses sniff the air faster than the arc of a rainbow. Scurry with sweetness, nuzzling each other, unconcerned about how cute their existence is on a rich green hill of grass. Even now, sudden is the movement of a starving wolf creeping. One who has not eaten in 17 months. Its hungry saliva corners the bunnies, who offer their friendship a paw full of daisies and dinner of succulent, crisp, bright carrots. We are friends of love, they all exclaim and giggle. The wolf even tries to hop.
Gager! And Russ, please!
Okay. Let's take a short break to do your business back there if you need to.